Welcome to Business Prowess with Raphael and Juanita. Our show will bring you the best insights, ideas, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs and CEOs in the business world. We'll talk to experts and business leaders. Don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from the best and stay ahead of the game. Sifu Raphael is the founder of 5 unique shows. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Juanita Cap is a public speaker who was in the ministry for 15 years. She has extensive knowledge of various topics such as leadership and communication, and has emceed many executive and academic events. Juanita is the founder of 2 unique shows. Her life motto is never give up.
Juanita, happy Friday. How are you, my dear?
Sifu, happy Friday. I'm doing so well today. How are you?
You know, I gotta tell you, exceptional and getting better every day.
Awesome to hear that.
Yeah, we have 2 amazing guests. One of them happens to be my sister, and the other one is an exceptional person that you know personally, but I get to meet today, and I'm excited to get to know her. Why don't we go ahead and bring them on?
Let's bring them on.
We have Lisa and Divine. Hello, hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
In case everybody was wondering who my sister is, Lisa Charles, my sister. And I was saying before, we may not have the same parents, but we're definitely related.
Oh my goodness, yes. You made me go back and question my mom after we met. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Happy to be here today. Happy to be here.
Well,
Absolutely. So we today want to talk about navigating something that's in our heart, something that touches so many people, but yet some people don't know how.
yes.
That's entrepreneurship,
Mhm.
right? Some people get it wrong, and then they never go back to it. They're terrified of it. They're like, oh. But we have some answers for them today, don't we?
Oh yes. That's right.
Divine is like, she's like, let me at them. Divine, what is your take? How do we help people navigate entrepreneurship?
Well, I would first start by saying entrepreneurship is a very tricky business. And the truth is, a lot of people get into entrepreneurship with the mindset that I'm going to make money and everything is going to be okay. And, I'm going to be a millionaire in 3 months. But understanding that there are challenges that come with that, that's the first thing you need to understand, that it's not easy because everybody wants to take the easy way out. And that's a big mistake that a lot of us make. But what I would say for entrepreneurship, the first thing that you need to get right is decision making, because decision making is going to boil down to the kind of people you have on your team, the kind of person you use as a business coach, the kind of utilities you use for your organization. Decision making and knowing when to differentiate between your EQ and your IQ, like making decisions based out of emotional intelligence versus intellect, fact, logic. That will be the biggest thing that any entrepreneur can ever make, because that is going to boil down to every single thing that you do in your organization. And that's going to boil down to the amount of money you generate in sales. It's going to boil down to the clientele you have in your business. It's going to boil down to the people you have on your team. It's such an important discussion. And if you are not in that mindset to understand that there are certain times where you've got to make that decision based on logic and fact. Look at the facts of things before you say, okay, I'm going to buy this. Okay, I'm going to hire this person on my team. Or, okay, we're going to go this route or go that route. You're going to be making a big mistake. And a lot of us actually have a big problem with decision making. A lot of us, we battle that. We procrastinate, and we can't ignore it, because that's the first and the most important part in every organization. So that would be the first thing I would say for every entrepreneur, just having that mindset that you've got to differentiate between your EQ and your IQ and make decisions out based on that. Know when it's the right time to make decisions based on IQ versus EQ. That would be the first thing that I would say just walk on before you start, running your business.
Man, Divine started with a bomb. I love it. And decision making is one of the most critical aspects of an entrepreneur, because you have to decide on so many different levels besides hiring people, production, all these different things. And it doesn't matter, because you may be the creative partner if you are maybe you're an entrepreneur with your partner, your wife, your friend, whoever it is. But that is an integral part of everything. First of all, you need to make the first decision is to start.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. I got to say, I love that, because you have to be able to start, and then you have to be able to do every day, moving in a direction. The worst thing you have is paralysis. Analysis by paralysis, they say sometimes, is inaction, and inaction means that you will not bear any fruits for your business. I had
Lisa, if you don't mind, could you put your link in the chat? I want to share it with everybody when you have a chance. But go ahead, tell us.
Yeah, no, I kind of had. I love that. I love the decision making, and I love this idea that you really have to start at the heart of what's most important, and everything that you do with decision. But I'd almost like to add a little caveat to that, add a little special sauce to that. Because I find that when I work with a lot of people, a lot of times they really don't know their true why, which means they haven't even gone to the basic understanding of who they are, why, and what they really want, because that's going to dictate how they move within their passion. And so you'll find people that really went into some kind of entrepreneur endeavor, and they find themselves not really progressing, getting very frustrated. But I ask, well, why are you doing this? Well, I don't know. Well, someone said about money, like Divine said, or someone said it was get rich quick. And if it doesn't align with who you are, if it doesn't align with your true passions, I can tell you that it's not going to be the thing that's going to really elevate you into your purpose. It will never do that for you, because there is this disconnect. Yeah. And so you can take what Divine said, which I thought was so brilliant, and you add that into operating in your passion. It's easier to make some of the decisions, even tough decisions that you might have to make.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
One of the things, let's keep adding to this. Let's keep piling on, right? Different things that are going to help everybody who is maybe entering into entrepreneurship, or maybe tried it and go, oh, too tough, and they walked away, but maybe they want to come back. Let's talk control.
Ooh. I love that.
That's
oh my
a very
gosh.
sensitive topic, but yes.
You know what? I will talk about everything and anything at any given time. So control. Here's the thing. Who is in control? And when do you give up control in order to get things done? Because if you micromanage every little thing, you will not get anything done.
You'll not get anything done.
So we need to understand the control going into entrepreneurship, because if we are going to do every little thing because we want that control. It's my baby, right?
Yes.
But guess what? Even babies grow up to be teenagers, and they grow up to live in your basement when they're in their 30s. So you don't want to give it away. So we need to understand that in order to have control, you actually have to give it away.
It's like delegating. And, it's interesting, because I was doing a training yesterday on imposter syndrome. One of the things that came up was this word of control. There are certain personality types that have a really hard time giving up. They say things like, well, it'd be just easier if I do it. I'll just do this. It's easier if I do it. instead of allowing someone else on your creative team, maybe they don't do it exactly like you, but that's okay. It expands the landscape of what's possible for your business. So that word delegation and knowing who you are and knowing if it's really one of your difficulty points. The perfectionist, the Superman, Superwoman, those people have a very hard time on the delegation side of things. So
yeah, and Lisa, I'm going to add to that actually. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs that when they start, they're usually so scared to create leaders in the organization because they probably feel like this person is going to leave me one day, or this person is going to go ahead and start their own business. But that's the biggest thing that you need to, when you are starting an organization, you need to start with leaders, people that can make decisions just like you, that knows their left from their right, and can do things without you having to tell them that you need to do this or you need to do that. So build leaders instead of followers. And a lot of entrepreneurs, I see that they build their business with followers and they never get anywhere. And you see some people, why we have a lot of battle, like with entrepreneurship. Some entrepreneurs, you see them 3 months into the business, they're already so exhausted. It's because you're having to carry all the weight on your shoulder. You're having to make all the decisions yourself. You're having to meet with every client. You cannot trust your team with sensitive information because you want to do it on your own, or you're scared to just let go and just let people carry out the task. And some people, I'm going to just deviate a little bit, because people say that entrepreneurs is the path to freedom. But I say, if you don't create the right business, you're going to work until the day you die. And it's the same thing as being on payroll. There's no difference, because some of us, we build our business entirely around us. That the day that we die, or the day that we want to retire, we find out we cannot retire because our business cannot function without us there. We can't take vacations. We can't take breaks, because once you're out of the business for a couple of hours, everything comes to a halt. You know what I mean? So when you keep building your business with followers, people that just wait to be told what to do, you're never going to get anywhere. So before you start, organize everything and just select leaders in their field that knows what they are doing, that can make sound decisions. And when you are absent, they can take positions, take authority when they need to, and carry out the task for you. That's a very, very important one.
I absolutely love that. I wanted to add on to the cake that we're building just along this lines, because when you do exactly what you do, and you say you're building and you're bringing people in, and you're actually sharing, what is the vision? What is the overall mission? You're not just giving them one little thing to do, and this is the only thing that they know. And you get people that buy into the complete thing that you're trying to build. And that's where you really can start to select those great leaders that can come up. The other thing I was thinking when you were talking is, as you bring people in, and I do advise people to take a personality. If you don't know what your personality is, you should really know how you work, who you work with, and what are your weaknesses, because you really want to build a team that's building on some of your weaknesses. So if you're not a super tech person, if you're not the one that has the back office, if that's not what you do, or that's not what you do well, you want to make sure you're bringing people in that's going to really complement the overall vision and mission, and work on the things that you are not going to be doing. It's going to really free you to be so directed to building the business that you have in your heart to build.
I got some layering to do right now. So I love, oh my God, this is such an amazing conversation. I'm having a blast. And we're going to let Juanita get in there, because she is like taking notes, I can tell. So because she is an amazing leader herself. But let's talk about, you talk about bringing in the right people. But how do we keep them? First of all, you need to understand that if you bring an A person into the organization, you got to pay them a good salary, right? And then, but what happens when you bring a B player, right, compared to an A player? Who are they going to bring with them? They're going to bring you C players. So when you bring an A+ player, they're only going to bring people they know who are going to facilitate your goals, because your goals, if you did it right, may also be their goals. So this is why interviewing before we bring that person in, we need to find out how they will help your goal. And does it align with theirs? Because if their goal is, I'm just here for the next 8 months and then I got my own thing, that's not the person to help you build your, enterprise. That's not the right person. They may be amazing, or maybe you say, you know what? I can use you for the next 6 months. So I am going to bring you in. So we're going to do a 6-month contract. And there you go. And then, hey, guess what? Because you are going to over deliver to them, they go, wait a minute, I want to be here longer. But then at that point, you have to assess, are they the right person now? Did their goals change? Because I'm not there to persuade them. I'm there to let them know that this is my goal. Does it align with yours?
With your goal.
Because now I am going to pay you more than you can do if you went somewhere else. The reason I'm going to pay you high is because you are going to bring me triple
value,
10 times what I'm paying. Big time.
Exactly.
So
True. Absolutely. I love the cake that we are building here. Absolutely love the cake. Hi to Mandy Robinson from Canada. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lisa and Divine, you guys are such amazing. You ladies are such amazing guests here on the show. It has been a pleasure to meet both of you. And Sifu, of course, absolutely love Sifu to bits. He's my brother. Just to layer the cake and to recap, before we continue building, I agree with everything that our wonderful guests have said. Yes, we have to make that decision. What are the choices that we are making? How are we going to go about being an entrepreneur? That's a big step. That's a huge choice to make in your life. So if you make that choice, you have to stick with it. And I agree with Sifu. I've seen so many entrepreneurs that start out so well. They hit one speed bump, they have one disappointment, and they turn their backs on something amazing that they could have brought to the world. So I agree with Divine decision making. Absolutely apply that emotional intelligence, apply that intellect as well. What the wonderful part is about emotional intelligence is there's so many resources out there that if you are an entrepreneur and you feel maybe you're lacking in a certain area, you can go and educate yourself, because being an entrepreneur is a learning curve. It will always be a platform where you have to take those risks. You have to make those difficult choices. You have to stick to what you said you will do. You have to be a person of your word. And then Lisa, absolutely, I agree with you. What is your why? Why do you want to the world? How do you want to serve? Very important aspects.
yeah, I think we lost her for a second.
Do some introspection before they take that journey, before they make that final decision. So important, such an important aspect, because on the one side, the positive side, you can say, well, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm in control of my story, I write the script as I go along, and this does bring a freedom to my life, because now I can do the things that I'm passionate about. And on the other side, like I mentioned and Sifu mentioned as well, control has to be something that you are willing to relinquish. Like was mentioned, you have to be able to say, well, maybe there's someone on my team that can do a certain task better than I can do it. And I think that's also important to put into consideration before you bring your team on, before you get those individuals that you want to employ. We just mentioned through Sifu that they have to most effectively have the same morals and values as you. I've also seen many times excellent businesses starting up, and the first, at the first crossroads, that partners come, they don't have values and morals that are aligned, and then there are predicaments. So what do they do next? So it's all about building, making that decision, making that choice, and really deciding why I want to do what I want to do, how I want to do what I want to do. Am I in a place of security within where I can say, I can put my ego aside and give control to someone else to complete the task for me. And I think that's also, it relates to the trust that is built. So how do I bring, to answer Sifu's question, how do I bring people into my team? It's a simple, plain, very basic answer. We have to first build relationship with them. I have to know them like I know Divine. Divine, I met you through Kirk, the sizzling Kirk Jimenez.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
we became friends. Lisa, I met you through Connected Leaders Academy, and we became friends. Sifa, I've known you for a long time. I met you through Connected Leaders Academy because that relationship was built. And now we are building, like we are layering this cake, we are building onto that every single day. I think Lisa is coming to South Africa, Sifu. I might just see her here when she visits.
I'm coming actually at the end of next week. I leave for South Africa, which is just amazing. And it really speaks to one piece of what you've been talking about, what we've all been talking about. Some people go into this entrepreneurship thinking that they are an island unto themselves, that they have to do it and they're at the leader of the ship and they have to either, not just for whatever they're trying to accomplish, but some of the best things that you can do as an entrepreneur is surround yourself with fellow entrepreneurs, right? And being in certain groups and being in certain areas where you can learn best practices. So you don't always have to recreate every wheel. There's so much that's already been done out there. And having relationships with other business owners is one of the ways and one of the tools for you to continue to grow and to learn in your own craft and your leadership craft, really, how to best grow your business, how to take it internationally, if that's what you want to do, or how to expand it nationally, and really go to the people that maybe have already done that. And having them in your orbit is just something that's more than just a plus. I think it's a requirement for you to really expand in the ways that most people want to expand.
Love it, love it. You know, I also want to talk about timing, right? Because we're building a cake, but putting it together doesn't mean that we can eat it right now. So it takes time, right? So we have to create the batter, do whatever, however many eggs you need to, whatever kind of baking you're doing. So let's consider baking, right? You can't just throw all the ingredients together and go, cake is ready. No, time.
Yeah.
You need to give everything its due time. Everything has a time. We have a time. Everything has a shelf life. So if you consider you building an enterprise, you're consider building a business, whether you're a solopreneur, because are you really a solopreneur? You don't have to be. This is where people fall into that category of like, oh, I do it all myself. How about you engage your children and get your children involved? How about you get your friends who maybe keep complaining that they're at a 9-to-5 job and they're not going anywhere, and say, hey, you know what? Help me with this, and I'll help you, right? So you're teaching them, but they're helping you along. So you don't have to do it alone. So when we think about the time that it takes to build something, some things we think were done overnight.
Yes.
And we are so wrong. We're so wrong. I did not build my body overnight. And my mom did not build me overnight either. It took her at least 9 months, right? So think about everything has a time. And when we think about time, and before Divine kind of laughed at me because I kept looking at my schedule. What is it? I was grabbing it. And if we plan it correctly, we can give it the time it needs to grow. So planning is part of that timing.
I love that. I don't
I
know.
agree.
I don't know, Divine.
That
I
was
love
such
it, but I'll let you.
Yeah, I most definitely agree. That's the same thing I said too when I started, right? Like most people, they get into entrepreneurship thinking it's, oh, I'm gonna make money in 3 months, but that's so wrong. And I usually see a lot of posts where people are like, start entrepreneurship and make 10,000 per month, but it takes a long time. Sometimes you invest you got to keep giving back into the business. Sometimes it takes a year, sometimes it takes 2 years. And just because somebody built it in 10 days doesn't mean that you can, because you have to think about it that everybody has their own journey. Every time, every person has probably different resources than you do. So if you are getting into entrepreneurship thinking, oh, I'm going to do it like Grant Cardone did, or I'm going to do it like this South African guy, I always keep forgetting how to pronounce his last name. But I love him so much. Vusi, I think it's Vusi Kumbaya or something. I keep forgetting his last name. But yeah, like if you get into entrepreneurship thinking that you're just going to come out on top like that, that's the first mistake you're going to make. Because in as much as you want to have a positive mindset, you also want to take things logically. Sometimes it's tough, but you just got to keep going. Find out what your why is and give yourself time to make errors. There's no rule book to entrepreneurship. It's the same thing with when pregnant women says with pregnancy, you can read as many books as you want, but nothing's going to prepare you for that moment when you actually got to deliver the kid. You know what I mean? You can read as many and get as many, but everybody has their own story. Everybody has their own challenges. Everybody's got difficulties, and just let time tell. Build on that and just keep going and give yourself walk at your own pace. Stop trying to go faster than what you have available with you. You know what I mean? So just
love that.
Take it one step.
It's like giving yourself. It's giving yourself the grace. And yes. I love if we can think about making this cake and all the things that Juanita was talking about that goes into it, building this trust and building the community. And if you also just think about when you make a cake, you don't just put batter on a counter and mix eggs and things. You have to have some pans and bowls. And the pans and bowls and all of those are the vision and the mission and also business planning. Like face this like it's not a hobby. We do hobbies and hobbies are great. And you don't need a lot of structure for a hobby. Just go do it and put your heart into it and all of that. But if it's really wanting to be a business, I think taking the time to really get some of those things in place, it'll change over time, but your mission, your overall vision, now you have a business plan. Now things can make sense. And I love what you said about, well, then now what do? We have the people who want to move forward. Well, it's moving forward on a daily basis. A very good friend of mine gave me this 3-column planner, which I love, because we all have the big vision of where your company wants to go. And maybe that'll take 5 years or 10 years or maybe 2 years. And that's on a column. You have that all there, the big visions that come. Then you have what is a breakdown of the things that have to be accomplished. And that's the things you're going to be doing every day. Those are the things that you're spending 20-minute, 40-minute increments, whatever you need to get it done. And then you have this third column, which I thought was so cool about so many times we have these small little things we need to do that only take like a few minutes, but it's hard to get time in the day. But if you have those all listed, when you have the moment, you go to that column, you say, okay, quick call, okay, email, okay, check, messages, whatever, but some kind of structure that gets you propelling yourself forward every day. Because the worst thing I see is people that have amazing ideas, they start it and they just stop and they say, I don't know where to go. And then they'll tell me about 5 different huge things they want to do. But until that's broken down in some kind of reasonable pieces, it's likely to find itself on the shelf of, well, it was a great idea, but it never went anywhere.
Yeah.
That's what the cemetery's full of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dead dreams, right?
Yeah.
I always say that. People always say dead people. I'm like, yeah, they're there too. A lot of dead dreams. One of the things I've already started another business as an entrepreneur. I'm always looking for opportunities. So I always talk about SEO, and it's not search engine optimization. It's see every opportunity. So I changed that around a little bit. And so I've already started a new venture with another person who is, we're going to be bringing something really cool to the forefront, but can't talk much about it because guess what? We just got started. We've had 3 meetings so far, and we're probably going to meet again a couple of times. And we're not going to bring it out in public until we know what we have is going to be viable. I mean, we already know it's viable, but now we have to take that time to start baking that cake.
You're
But here's the
mixing.
other thing.
You're in the mixing process.
I am in the mixing process, right? Making sure that, you know what? Sometimes you have to bake it and, it came out bad. Throw it out. Start again.
I do it again.
Yes. You know what? Guess what? Sometimes you're gonna fail. But here's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that that is part of an entrepreneurship. Failure will lead me to success.
True.
If I don't fail, how will I know if I'm doing it right? So failure, tasting, asking, hey, do you like this? Maybe you got to go outside of your own environment and go, hey, I have this thing. Could you give me an idea what you think about it? You're going to write a book. Write the book, right? You're going to make tons of mistakes. I just read a book by somebody who, it's a good book. Unfortunately, they really didn't have anybody check it, I think, because there's grammatical errors. And, one of the things that in the past I used to, when I read a book and it was grammatically incorrect, I would harp on that. I'm like, I get the message. I'll move on. But a lot of people are going to harp on your mistakes. As long as they're willing to move on, they'll get the full message. So how do we avoid we're going to make mistakes a million times, and we should as an entrepreneur, but how do we move on if we don't know we're making them? So we need to incorporate friends, family, colleagues, test groups. If you have enough money, what do you think the big companies do before they put a product out? They get people to come in and taste this, and you see people's faces like, whoa, or wow. So the reaction is important. So testing, research and development, even at the lower levels. We need to do that as an entrepreneur, because if we think we have the best thing since sliced bread, guess what? We may not. We may not.
It may not even be bread.
They look like bread.
What you had.
Yes.
Yeah, beta testing is very important, and part of that is not just the clinical side of asking people to test your program, to test your course, to read your script of your upcoming screenplay or the book that you've written. Also asking them their dead honest opinion. What do you think about the cover of my book? Do you like the gist of my story, of the movie that I'm writing, the script, the screenplay? Ask them for their opinion and be the kind of person that's open, that they feel the more input we get, the more accountability we make ourselves available.
I'm getting her message.
Yeah. I'm going to say,
Yeah,
I think the word that we're talking about a little bit here is fear. People have a fear to put their thing out. Even though they're in the midst of a business, they are fearful of what the comments will be. I think fear is one of those things as an entrepreneur you have to develop that kind of relationship with, or you're going to get stuck, I think is what Nita was talking about.
We lost you for a minute there, Juanita.
Yeah, no, thank you for hopping in. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, is let people have the heart to really give us the truth. And that's only if you extend that invitation and you make it clear. Effective communication, clear communication. Lisa, I have this product. I want your honest opinion on it. I'm not going to take offense. I'm not going to be angry, because I want to bring the best to my customers, my clients, the people that I serve. And when we get past that place of fear, like Lisa said, oh my goodness, the sky is the limit of what we can achieve. We need accountability.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I'm gonna add to that because a lot of us, we are so scared to hold ourselves accountable, and we find ourselves lying to ourselves. You can lie to the world, but you can't lie to yourself. You know what I mean? Learning to question yourself is a very important part in entrepreneurship, and most people mistake it for doubt or letting fear creep in, but it's not. Like questioning why you're doing what you're doing, and questioning your journey, and questioning the decisions that you make to understand the reason why you're making that decision is very important. Sometimes like we have certain people on the team. I'm going to give an example, and this person is not the right person for your organization, and you're trying to let go of this person. Now you have to be able to differentiate between, am I letting go of this person because I don't like this person, but I just don't want them on my team, or am I actually letting them go because it's bad for my business? Learning to take that feeling and just put it aside, because sometimes we may work with people that we don't like, but they are good for your business, but you just don't like them. But it doesn't matter what you feel towards them. It's whether or not this person or this thing impacts your business in a positive or negative way, and learning to just separate from that. At some point, question yourself, why am I doing this? If somebody challenged you, or somebody said something about your book or an idea that you put out there and you didn't like it, and because you're the boss, I want to fire people. I want to let them go because they said something negative about my idea or my comment. You need to be able to just split it into like an atom and just tell yourself, is what this person's saying actually correct? Do I need to check myself again and check what I'm doing and check my why? Just making sure that you come. And sometimes I do, like I have that moment with my mom when I call her and I say, I'm having this challenge and I don't know if I'm making the right decision. And she says, well, the fact that you are questioning yourself about the decision you're about to make shows me that your heart is in the right place. Because for you to be able to realize and take accountability and know, okay, I've got to double check that and make sure that the reason I'm doing this is not flawed, that means that you're on the good path as an entrepreneur. So I just wanted to throw that in there and just lay it on the cake.
I love it. I love it. One of the things, if you don't mind, I consider this. Let's talk about. I have this product, right? I don't know, it's this product, and I tell my friends about it, and they go, "Wow, it is incredible." Now my friends expect me to give it to them for free.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if you're my friend and you want to support me,
You'll
by the
buy it.
way, this is not a regular tumbler. This tumbler is $10,000. They're like, what? Are you crazy? You're going to charge that? So then now you know how they really feel about it. But if you explain it that, hey, you know what? You put this tumbler in there, you fill it, and osmosis is going to come in and put water in it, and it's going to make you the best tea, the best whatever. But whatever your product is, if your friends lie to you about how amazing it is, but then when you turn around and say, would you buy it? Give me the money. Will they do it? If they believe in the product enough, if they believe in you enough, they may make the investment. If they're not, all of a sudden, if you got 10 friends and all of a sudden you got crickets as friends, now you know, hey, maybe I got to reevaluate my product, because if my own friends who love me, who would do anything for me, are not willing to invest in this, who is going to invest in this? Who would?
Yeah. And
If
that's
your
like,
own friends and family will not invest in you.
Oh.
Don't get me wrong. If you bring a different product every single day, they're not going
they get
to invest in
it.
you anyway, because they're like, oh no, here comes Raphael again.
Another
What's he
one.
selling me today? Right? But if it's a genuine item,
Yeah.
genuine thing, and so the difference I want to share with you is the difference between friends, family, and allies. There's three, right? Your family will tell you what you want to hear because they don't want to hurt your feelings, right? That's number one. Two, they love you, right? 3, they want to see you succeed. And your friends will do the same thing. They love you. They want what's best for you, and they want to see you succeed. What's the difference between a friend, family, and an ally? An ally will be honest. They will tell you their feelings about what it is that you need to hear. And they will be brutally honest with you. So who do you want to test your product?
You got to hit
Somebody
those
who's going to
allies.
be an ally?
Yeah.
You got to hit that. You got to open yourself up to the possibility that maybe what you think is the latest, greatest thing may not be that yet, may need some modifications or maybe something completely different. And I think, just being able to work, that's like a little self-work to be able to take, when Juanita was talking about asking people and being able to take in what is criticism about something you love and it's so passionate about, and maybe taking the idea that there may be some adjustments you need. I just wanted to throw one other thing in the cake. Because you said about money and value, and I don't think we can talk about entrepreneurship without the idea that sometimes we undervalue what we have and who we are and our time. And as entrepreneurs, because you're there and maybe a very giving heart, sometimes you may not really be valuing the service that you're providing or the product that you're providing in the ways that you should. And so I would love to get people's comment on that, because I think a lot of that has to do with how you feel and the work you do in the front end, understanding that you're aligned with your passion and the relationships. But have you found that in your entrepreneur journey about the valuation of your services?
Oh, absolutely. That's a really big one. Learning to value our product. Sometimes, you know what? I meet a lot of people that they want to charge $10,000 for the service, and that's okay. Like if you believe that your service or your product is actually worth 10,000, go ahead and charge it. But evaluate yourself. Is my product actually worth 10,000? Because everybody wants to get rich, everybody wants to get money in the account, but you've got to be able to give your clients the value of what they're paying for. And when the money doesn't meet the value that you're giving out, you need to check yourself and go, okay, I've got to reevaluate, I've got to do it again, I've got to check myself again. And if you believe that your products really can, or your services can really help your clients, why not charge 10,000? I can guarantee you that people will pay for it. When you find the right clientele, or you find the right target audience, people that knows the worth of what you're doing, charge it, and people will pay for it. Just make sure that you are checking.
Where do I send this? Where do I send this?
Charge it.
Take my cards. Take my cards. Not one. Take 2. Wait, I got more over there.
Yeah,
I love that. I want to top this cake off with probably the most important frosting. Okay, and then we're gonna kind of leave it here, because we're gonna have to come back. And there's 2 things I want to talk about. I think we're gonna have to do this again, ladies. Just you 2 ladies. I think we can talk for many, many days. So I want you to both book in at the same time. I need you both again. Here's the thing. 2 things. Integrity, right? That is the overall layer, right? And self-worth. Let's go with integrity. We'll come back to self-worth at another time. So if you consider your integrity, how, and you talked about it, Divine, how you are being honest with yourself, how you're being honest even with your family. If you say, hey, family, I have this thing that I'm going to be working on, and you may not see me, for the next 3 months, but, I'll come and kiss the kids in the middle of the night, whatever, when I get home. But you need to be super honest. And then you have to ask the questions. Are you okay with this?
Yeah.
Will you support me with this? And here's the thing. I may not be home, but why don't you stop by with the kids? Why don't you, let's say you don't have kids, why don't you stop by? And maybe I do have to eat. I'm going to be working all day long, but I am going to take maybe a half-hour lunch break. Can you come and meet me at that time? And so we can still have this unity. We can still have this connection. Because if I might as well get on a ship and go to Alaska, because I'm not going to make any connection with you. I'm not even going to call you on the phone. I'm so busy. You have to have the integrity to find out what people are willing to do for you, because to become an entrepreneur, whether you like it or not, you're going to have to give up some things. You cannot have the cake.
I agree with that.
Eat it.
That's the one. Oh my God.
Love that.
Oh my God. Yes.
Wonderful.
I mean,
anything that you ladies want to add, Lisa?
Oh,
I mean, I think it, you couldn't have said it better. It's a balance for one you're talking about, but you're really talking about love. And we are seated in love on how we show up in the relationships we have in our life. And we have to honor that. And that's part of honoring it, is being truthfully honest in what we're doing and how we're doing it, but also taking into consideration others. I mean, I always say that when we look at the deepest level of who we are, the part that no one can ever take away, that's not anything that's tied to anything that's in this planet Earth, except for that is our values, it's our compassion, our goodness, our gentleness, our kindness. And when we can allow that to be alongside of our honesty with every single relationship, boy, can we really excel and soar, both on our personal relationships, our business relationships, and anything in between.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
awesome.
Divine,
I
any
love
words?
that. Yeah, I mean, I believe you guys have taken the words out of my mouth.
You're stewing on the cake.
Yeah, I mean, it all boils down to just doing what you can do, and just making sure that you have the right people on your side, because that's going to play a big role in everything that you do. Having that, you have that support system, because there are just some days that's just going to be, excuse my words, it's going to be shitty. Like, you're going to deal with bad clients and employees and so many troubles, and just having people that you can come home to and vent when needed is very, very important. Just surrounding yourself with people that understands what you're doing and is willing to push you to just keep going. Oh, very important. Like, if you've got that, you are absolutely lucky. Like, even if they cannot support with money, but they can support by just encouraging you when needed. They'll tell you the truth. They make you question yourself, and they never forget to read them. Never make you forget why you're doing what you're doing, and keep your eye on the goal. And yeah, that's the icing on the cake.
You just brought something to my mind, and I know we have to log off, but I heard a quote yesterday, and you kind of brought it to my mind, Divine. It said, sometimes shit happens in order for shit to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
It just depends on what kind of shit you have. Good or bad. All right.
Yep.
Ladies,
I agree with that.
God bless you. I mean, wow. You are beautiful. You're unique. You're special. And I need you back on the show.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Lisa,
Thank you
have
so
a
much
great
for
trip.
having
You
me.
girls take a lot of pictures. Make sure we get to look at them.
Yes, I hope to see Juanita. So we're going to make it happen.
Will you be around on the 27th of July?
I
of
will
August?
be.
Of
Yes.
September.
September. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll reach out. I'm going to come see you and hug you
I'm
out.
seeing everybody. Okay, Divine, you're next.
Let me know when you're in Canada.
We're going to have a meetup, okay, ladies? Is that okay?
For
Awesome.
sure.
I love
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
We're going to have a meetup.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
so much.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Make it
Thank
exceptional.
you.
Bye.